Hey sports fan, today I'm going to talk about jailbreaking your Kindle. If you're like me and you consume kind of a lot of book content on social media, then the algorithm may have fed you one or two or 12 videos lately talking all about jailbreaking your Kindle and how it's like life changing and going to change the way that you use your Kindle and change the way how you read, and that everybody should be doing it and it's just the best. Side tangent, if the whole word is jailbreak, like to jailbreak, is one word, then the past tense of that word is not jailbroke or jailbroken, it's jailbreaked, which just feels wrong. So you may be seeing all of these videos that are talking about jailbreaking your Kindle and how it's like life changing, and you might be thinking to yourself, is it actually worth the time and effort to jailbreak my Kindle? And I am here to tell you that no, it absolutely is not. There's honestly almost no point to jailbreaking your Kindle. So let's get into it. I am not a tech person. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how to write code. I'm not into software or computers or any of that junk. I happen to have an old Kindle, and I kept getting fed these videos on YouTube of people talking about jailbreaking your Kindle and how it's like just this life-altering event. It's not. It's so dumb. You may be asking yourself, what is jailbreaking your Kindle? Jailbreaking your Kindle just means that you're using a different user interface to operate custom programs. So instead of having Amazon's user interface that comes on every Kindle, you are putting a new one on, kind of like if you got rid of Windows and replaced it with Linux, I guess. So instead of using Amazon's user interface, you're going to use a different one. And this is called the Co-Reader or KO Reader. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it. So it's basically just a different e-reader interface that's going to allow you to read documents in a different format. I believe the Co-Reader can actually only read EPUB files and PDF files. There might be some other ones, but that's all that I've utilized it to look at. Additionally, if you're using the Co-Reader, you can change like the font and you can change the margins of the page. Some people have talked about putting it into dark mode, which gives you a dark background and lighter letters. I believe that Kindle already has a dark mode. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I should double check. Let me actually double check. We're going on a journey. Let's go into settings. Yeah, there's a dark mode. So I saw someone talking about putting their Co-Reader into dark mode and how it was like so much better for their eyes, and they have, I think, ADD or something, and it helps them focus. Well, there's already a dark mode option built into your Kindle, and let's double check and see if it actually affects reading the books. Let's look at Wolfskin. Yeah. So your Kindle already comes with a dark mode installed that you can choose, or you can read from light mode. So that is kind of a moot point. Your Kindle can already do this. You don't have to jailbreak it for that. And that setting is just in settings, screen and brightness, and then you choose dark mode or light mode. Supposedly with circumventing Amazon's user interface, you can also put custom screensavers on your Kindle. Something that I have not tested, but I have seen people say, is that reading comics and manga is better on the Co-Reader. I have no frame of reference for that. I just buy my comics or manga in physical form because I don't even want to bother trying to read it on a Kindle. Like, I'm not about that life. But supposedly the Co-Reader is better for comics and manga, and I can't speak for or against that at all, so keep that in mind. The thing that actually piqued my interest about jailbreaking my Kindle and seeing how these programs run and how they would change my experience with my Kindle was the implication that I would be able to read more books for less money, if you understand my meaning. For me, that was really the motivating factor, and I just kept seeing people talk about how cool it is, how fun it is, how it's like really easy and simple, and it's really going to change the way that you use your e-reader. I think it's important to mention that I do have a couple of caveats before I launch into everything I want to talk about. This is my original Kindle Paperwhite. This is the one that was released, I believe, in 2011. This is the original Paperwhite. It is very old. I've had it for a long time. It still works and it's fine, but there is some image burning in the screen. And I've noticed that the battery doesn't last quite as long, and the touch screen is not quite as responsive as I would like it to be. So last year I did replace it with a new Paperwhite. So I happened to have an extra Kindle. I'm not encouraging you to go out and buy a new Kindle. I'm not encouraging you to waste your money on things that you don't actually need. I could have just continued to use this one and it would have been fine, but I was reading on it a lot at the time and I felt like the experience just wasn't as smooth and quick as I would like it to be. So I, as a treat to myself, replaced it. So this is the Kindle that I decided to play with and mess with. I don't like to waste things, and I figured at least this way I'm not ruining a Kindle that I just purchased. So I personally would not do this on a brand new Kindle that you actually read on all the time, because there is always the chance that something is going to go wrong. My second caveat is that I happen to have a laptop from about 2012. It's really old and it was really struggling. It does work and it works fine. Again, I just wasn't having as smooth an experience as I wanted to have with it. My husband replaced it for me for Christmas and he purchased me a new laptop. So if you're going to do this, I would recommend that you not use your PC or laptop that you use on a daily basis for any other sort of schoolwork or work or YouTube or whatever. I would suggest using an older device that if something happens, it's not going to ruin your day. Those are two things that nobody told me, but I decided that that was the way that I should do things. And it's a really good thing that I did because I ran into a lot of problems. I just want to get out of the way. Jailbreaking your Kindle is not easy. Everybody online, all of these YouTube videos, all of these shorts and TikToks and whatever are going to tell you that it's super easy and not complicated and anybody can do it. It is not easy. It is complicated. Anybody can do it, but it's not going to be easy and you will probably get really frustrated. It took me about 3 days. I ran into a lot of problems. I am not a tech person. I don't have experience with like writing programs, computering, hacking. Am I hacking the mainframe? I am an elder, okay? I don't really mess with like technology beyond the things that we use in our everyday life. I think that if you were like me and kind of just average, that this will be complicated and you're going to have to spend a lot of time looking things up. So there is a guide that you can find, and I can try to locate that guide and link it below if you were just like really bound and determined to jailbreak your Kindle. There is a guide, and it is a step-by-step guide, and it will walk you through every single step. Not every step is going to work the way that it's supposed to, and you are probably going to have to find alternate avenues to fix things. So I saw these videos that were talking about jailbreaking your Kindle, and I said, you know what? I've got this old Kindle and I've got a little bit of spare time on my hands. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jailbreak my Kindle. And I thought it would take maybe a couple of hours. No, my sweet babies. It took so fucking long. It took forever. And honestly, the payoff, not really worth it. So let's get into it. Another thing, you will have to download so much stuff. You will have to download several zipped files of like programming, written programming that you will have to unzip. So also, I keep getting sidetracked. You will need to have something on your computer that can unzip files. I believe it's called 7-zip or 7Z. I can try to link that down below as well. It's free, it works really well, and it will unzip files for you. And that is one of the reasons that I suggest not using your everyday use computer, because most of these things are going to be just fine. But if you're like me and you're a little bit dumb, you might click on something that looks like the thing you're supposed to get, but is actually ransomware. So I accidentally put some ransomware on my old laptop, and I had to spend another like 2 hours getting it off of my laptop. I got myself out of it without any help from anybody, and I was very proud of that. I had to think way back to my ninth grade computer literacy classes, but I did get out of it. So I found the walkthrough that guides you through everything that you need to do, and the first problem that I ran into was almost immediate. This is a very old Kindle. Like I said, this Kindle is from, it's either 2011 or 2012. Whenever the first Paperwhite was released, that's the one I have. I was waiting tables. I saved up tips to buy this for myself. This was a little treat that I worked hard for and saved up for when I bought it. This is very, very old. Now, having a very old Kindle is a problem because I guess, programming that has been written to jailbreak older models doesn't quite work as well. I was able to use Winterbreak, which is the newest jailbreak that's out there, and I did get it to work, but there were some hurdles that I had to jump through. One of the problems that I ran into with this being so old is that it was suggested to me that I should change the Kindle firmware version that was being run on this device. And I ran into a lot of problems with that. I realized down the line that I didn't need to change the firmware version, but I did for a while think that I bricked my Kindle, and I had to go in and like play with it and mess around, and I did get it to work eventually, but there was a whole day where I thought that I had just bricked this, and I was like really annoyed with myself because I feel like I'm not brilliant, but I'm also not an idiot, and I felt like I was making weird mistakes. So if your device is really old, it's going to be more complicated because there are extra little steps that you're going to have to take. Another problem that I ran into is that the guide is comprehensive and it does walk you through step by step, but there are some things that it says to do that actually hinder you down the line. One of the things that the guide will say to do is to try to get your Kindle not to auto update. And it's not enough to have it on airplane mode. You're going to have to switch back and forth constantly between airplane mode and the Wi-Fi while you're doing this. And every time you switch back to the Wi-Fi, if there's enough space on your Kindle, Amazon is going to try to auto update it, and it will remove the jailbreaking files that you've downloaded, or it will like negate them. It will make them not work. What they suggest that you do is to fill up your Kindle, which means downloading zip files that are basically, they're full, but they're empty. They don't actually hold anything. They're just to take up space in your Kindle. The guide will tell you to fill your Kindle to where there's only 30 to 90 megs of space left. The problem that you're going to run into, that is going to work for a little bit, and nobody's going to tell you that once you have all of the files onto your Kindle, you will need to free up about 300 megs of space so that you can actually run the KUAL thing that is the actual jailbreak. So if you run into that problem where you have filled up your Kindle and you've downloaded all of the files that you need to do the jailbreak, but then every time you try to run it, nothing happens, or if you run it and it says destroying package, what that means is that you don't have enough space opened up. So you're going to need to open up about 300 megs of space. That's something that nobody tells you. I had to hunt that down. It took me like an hour to find the answer. And as soon as I opened up that space, it did work. So you followed all the steps. We've gone through all of the hullabaloo. The co-reader is on our Kindle and we're ready to rock. Like, you're excited. We're going to do cool things, right? No, not really. So the first thing that I wanted to do was get rid of the ads. My new Kindle, I paid for the one that doesn't have ads, which is great. I love that. My old one has ads and I really didn't want them anymore. So I downloaded the script that's supposed to get rid of the ads and I ran it. I ran it several times. I followed all the steps to like troubleshoot it. And guess what, chicken butt? It still has ads. It's so stupid. I tried more than one and they just don't work. I don't know what I've done wrong. I am convinced it might be because my Kindle's really old, but it still has an ad. So that was the first miss. You may notice that things look a little bit different. I probably look much more tired. That's because the beginning of this video was filmed very early in the day, and now I'm coming back and finishing up at the end of the night. It is like 8 p.m., so it's like almost bedtime. I believe where I left off, I was talking about that the script I downloaded and ran on my Kindle was supposed to get rid of ads, and it didn't. So as you can see, there's still a Goodreads ad. It's an ad, you know, so there's still like some sort of advertisement on my lock screen, which is kind of, it's annoying. It's annoying that whatever, like script programming, I don't know the terminology, but it's kind of annoying that that didn't work. I'm going to try to show you some of the things that are a little bit different on the Kindle post jailbreak. As you can see, it's quite slow. So this will be your like home screen when you open up your Kindle, and it looks the same because it is the same. But if you choose where it says personal, this is the actual co-reader or KO reader. I'm not sure how it's meant to be pronounced. So it will take a moment. It will eventually open up. And what you'll have here, if you can see, is your like main menu. So when you open the co-reader, like this is the home screen. I don't know if you can change this. I haven't looked particularly hard because I wasn't like super interested once I got into this and saw how like anticlimactic and lackluster it really was. I haven't really tried. I feel like it just gets more and more complicated, and then the things that I try to put on this Kindle don't work the way that they're supposed to, like the ad removal. It seems like that's kind of the experience with a lot of the stuff that I've tried to do. Like I said, my big selling point and the reason that I was interested was because I wanted to have access to more books at a lower price point. When you're in the home page and it will say co-reader home up here, you will choose documents. And this is it. These are the books. What you're looking at here are the books that I have on this co-reader. It's a little bit frustrating because they're sorted by author. I typically recall the book title before the author's name. So for me personally, this is not the best way to organize my books. I don't know if you can change this. You probably can. I do not know how. So for me, this is what it looks like, and I don't really like that. Now, the books do look totally normal. They look just like a Kindle book or a Kobo book or a Nook book when you open them up. So this is how your documents will look, and that's your books, your PDFs, your comics, whatever. So let's just go up to Howling Dark, and it's gonna open it up eventually. I don't know if this is because my Kindle's really old, but it does take kind of a long time for things to open and for processes to actually happen. So you have to be very patient, but it does look, it looks just like your Kindle book. It's just in EPUB format. And there you go. Looking at the books, I don't think that there's anything new or exciting or particularly impressive about how my ebooks look in the co-reader. I don't know how to change all of the settings, like the margins, and I don't really care about the margins. I just want to read the book, right? When you finish the walkthrough for jailbreaking, there's actually a secondary guide, and it is very long, but it is the guide to the co-reader and it explains how to do everything that you could possibly want to do. I did read through some of it and I didn't find it that helpful because it's kind of just like so much information. I don't know if I was just already over it by the time I started reading it, but I came away with not a lot of information and even more disinterest. You may be wondering, Ariel, how did you get your books from your Kindle library to this co-reader? Because as I've stated, the books have to be in EPUB format or PDF to be read on the co-reader. They can't be in the Kindle ebook format. Amazon has their own format that they use and it is specific to their devices. So you have to convert all of your Kindle books into a different format and then put them back on your Kindle in the co-reader. Now, I did this and I've only just realized talking to you guys now that it didn't work. How embarrassing. The process that you're going to use to do this, and there are a couple of different processes that you can use. Obviously, the one that I did didn't work correctly, and I'm not really interested in repeating it. But basically, what you have to do is download the book that you would like to transfer from your Amazon account or your Kindle onto a laptop or a desktop. And then you will put that file into a program called Calibre. Calibre will allow you to convert documents from one format to another. To use this, you're going to have to download more zipped files, which are going to have the plugins that are necessary to remove Amazon's DRM from their books. It's basically like Amazon's copyright. It's how they mark the content as theirs and it keeps other third-party programs from changing them. So you have to do something to remove that copyright off of the Kindle book before you can convert the Kindle format into an EPUB format. And then you should be able to put the EPUB onto the co-reader. Now, as I said, I did this with all of the books in my Kindle, and I'm looking at them now and realizing that it didn't work. When I click on Holly Black, there's nothing in it. So all of the Holly Black books that I have didn't, I don't know, they didn't convert, they didn't transfer. I probably did something wrong. I don't know. And so I already think that jailbreaking your Kindle is a huge waste of time and energy and effort for very, very little payoff. And this has actually just like validated my feelings where I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, I spent all of this time, I did all of this work, I downloaded all this crap, I learned how to like do this, and it was actually just a colossal waste of time. So that's pretty much it. The only real saving grace, in my opinion, is that I can still use my Kindle as a Kindle. All of my books are still here. I can still read the books that I have exactly how you normally would. And now that I've done it, I know how to undo it. I know how to go in and just take everything off and return my Kindle to how it was before, which honestly, I probably will, because now the co-reader stuff is just taking up like a ton of space on here. Here's what's crazy. I don't like to waste things. If it's still in good condition when I replace something, I like to give the old one away. I offered this to several people and I offered to leave everything on it, and I was just going to ask that you please not buy anything. So like it has a ton of books on it. And, you know, if you don't like the books that I have, I can just remove it from my account and you can put it on your account or whatever. And everybody that I offered it to didn't want it. I'm not trying to contribute to like the overconsumption epidemic, but I tried to give this away and nobody wanted it. So now I have two. I am kind of annoyed that I spent so much time and energy and put so much work into doing something that had almost zero payoff. I mean, actually zero payoff. So If anyone were to ask me, hey, Ariel, I heard that you jailbreaked your Kindle. How's that working out for you? Do you think I should do it? No, it's hot garbage. It's a waste of time. It's actually super complicated and stupid and annoying, and it's not worth it. For me, zero payoff. I can't, there's nothing that I can do on the stupid co-reader thing that I can't already do on my Kindle. Now, I do want to very briefly talk about my main incentive for doing the jailbreak on my Kindle, and that was that I wanted access to a wider scope of books at a lower price point. I thought that I had to do the whole jailbreak fiasco to access that content. And it turns out you absolutely do not. If you just do a little Google search or even a little Reddit search, I know that we all hate Reddit, but like just hold your breath and do the search. You will find so many archives of content that you can actually send to your Kindle for $0. This is where I got super effing annoyed. I'm sorry, I'm trying very hard not to swear quite as much because my daughter has started talking and I don't want her to repeat the bad words that come out of my mouth. I got so effing annoyed because I found a website that I really like, and if you send me a message, I can link it to you, where you can find tons and tons and tons of content in tons of languages by tons of authors. And with the simple click of a mouse, it will send the EPUB file to your Kindle. Now you may be confused because I've been talking about how you have to convert the Kindle books to EPUB in order for the co-reader to even read them, which might make you think that your Kindle can't read an EPUB file. Well, here's a fun fact. Kindle updated their software. If you send an EPUB format book to your Kindle will automatically convert it to Kindle's format. So you can send EPUBs to your heart's delight. You could also send them as a PDF if that's what you prefer. Finding that out, and embarrassingly, it is the last thing that I thought to even search for. Finding that out was truly the icing on the cake for me. That made me feel like the whole jailbreak thing is just such a waste. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your mental capacity. It's a waste of effort. And it's like a fruitless endeavor. If you have jailbreaked your Kindle and it's amazing and you're really enjoying it, show me. Show me what you've done that makes this like a life-changing device now. For me, the only thing that changed is that I lost like 3 days of time just messing with this Kindle and messing with the silly little problems that I ran into. I don't know what else to say. Wrap it up. If you're seeing all of these YouTube videos and YouTube shorts and TikToks and Instagrams where all of the book girlies are talking about how they jailbreak their Kindles and it changed their lives, it's amazing, you don't know what you're missing, I'm here to tell you, you're not missing anything. It is a waste of your time. Should you jailbreak your Kindle? No, absolutely not. Total waste of time. Just use your Kindle as it's meant to be used. Just read books. Just use it to read books.